Corey, this is one we had over on Steam Fest, Shadow Gambit, the Cursed Crew. And as much as I liked it over there, dude, I'm in love. This is a pirate game. I love pirate games. I love that genre. I love that feel. And this is MiMiMi, who is another studio that, dude, I just adore this team. I think they are excellent at what they do, what they create, and they specialize in are these tactic stealth style gameplay mechanics, right? And this is how the Shadow Gambit plays out. And dude, the story, the characters, the gameplay, like, yo, I'm starting off high, and I'm telling you right now, the whole thing, I'll be on a high, because this was an amazing game. I loved from the minute I started, even with the demo on Steam Fest, and now playing it on Xbox. The controls, definitely different, right? You're going from mouse and keys to the controller, but I think they mapped it out rather well, and it works. I was getting a little cumbersome when I first started figuring out the camera, but now I'm just like, yo, I'm just in my groove, and I'm just going out and I'm setting out, and I'm building my crew. And you start off as a Fia, but you're out there to hunt down the Mordecai's treasure, because there's a couple other situations. So we're not going to get into spoiling, right? But at the same time, that whole moment you and I are talking off camera, that first half hour sets it up that you're in the story and you want to know more, and it just keeps you going, right? As you play around with some of these levels, and dude, you play out these levels, and sometimes I'm there for a half hour, sometimes I'm there for an hour, and it just depends on how much I go around some of the Inquisition, which is the enemy we were up against throughout this story. But man, like, what an amazing game. I've had so much fun. Corey, I could keep going, man, before I keep gushing. What did you think of this?
Well, I mean, we got a pretty good look at this one during Steam Fest. We both gave it a recommend as through our playthrough of the game. We only got to play so much, so being able to actually jump into the full version of this game was exciting, because we already kind of knew what we were getting into. We were just excited to see how much more they were going to give us here. And like you said, some of these levels, depending on how you choose to play it, because that's how this game is. The levels are laid out exactly the same for you and me, but I may choose to do it differently with different crew members than you do, and that's what makes this game so unique. The availability of being able to just have the variety of this type of playthrough means you can go back and play the same levels over with different crew members once you start to unlock them. And that's kind of the draw here. Like you said, the story pulls you in almost immediately. The characters are great. The music's awesome. The voiceovers are fantastic. This is what we're looking at to be somewhere between about $50 to $60 Canadian for this game. There is a deluxe version that I believe will probably be more in the $70 range, I can imagine. But honestly, we talk about price in games and the value very often in these reviews, and so far, Drew, the $60 you would spend on this game when it releases, I think is going to be worth every penny, because there's something here for everybody. Whether you want to play this completely stealth, or you want to be guns a-blazing a little bit more, which is a bit of a riskier maneuver, but it's still something you can achieve in this game, and I just really like that. Like I said, there's just kind of a variety. It allows you to use your imagination and creativity to kind of get through some of these levels. I like the fact that when you complete them, it actually shows you a map and gives you a rundown of the entire path you took to play that level. You don't have to watch that if you don't want to, but it's kind of interesting to see, you know, what your 45-minute adventure took you through this little island. Sometimes some take longer than others, but overall, this game has very few misses here. This hits in so many categories that I've enjoyed my playthrough thus far. And like I said, this is going to be one of those games that stays on my console for a while, because I'm going to just kind of jump in and play a level, and then jump back out, jump back in, play a few levels. It's one of those games that allows you to do that. You don't have to sit down and commit a ton of time. You can jump in for a half hour or an hour and hop back out, and it gives you kind of that versatility, and I really like that. Man, I'm just, like you said, I'm kind of gushing about this game too, because I'm having a hard time finding anything about this game that I truly, you know, didn't like or thought that it was holding me back. My experience thus far has just been fantastic.
Absolutely. Last night, dude, I go to bed and I'm thinking about the game, right? This is where I'm at right now with the game. I'm like, okay, what if I went this way next time? Or maybe I'll just traverse that way. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm going, what am I scoring this today? And then I'm going, as reviewers, right, we look to kind of critique the game, and what can we kind of pinpoint of maybe the team should take a look at, maybe addressing this, that, and the other. Dude, I can't really, like, I am scrubbing trying to figure out anything at all, because it just kind of hit. I'm sure the team's going, well, we'd like to do this, 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 and this. I'm sure there's other things they'd like to do. But when the gameplay, dude, the game works. It doesn't crash. There's no bugs. There's no glitches. There's no, you know, graphical pop-in. There's nothing. Everything is just work, and you're having an awesome time. The rewind, I call it the rewind feature. It's really like a restart feature, because you are meant to fail, but yet go back. And it is like, dude, it is instant. And Red Marley does ask you to just, hey, you might want to save.
It's
And you might
that
wanna
little
save
bell of
again.
a reminder. Yep.
Exactly, right? So you do set up your situation, and before you execute, because sometimes you are definitely going to fail, you save it and then you go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then you can immediately restart to that point. Dude, I play previous stealth games. I'm such a stealth fan. So there are moments when I'm playing Deus Ex Dishonored, right? And you get into these certain situations, I'm like, man, I could have done that better. Well, my last save point is where? And I got to go find that, right? Well, here it saves like 4 or 5, and then it allows you to jump back into those and just boot back up, and away you go. It is so satisfying. And then you work and you pause the game and you set up if he had to go this way. I got the doctor going over here, and I got my other crew member going over this way, right? And all of a sudden, boom, I just dropped 3 Inquisitions all at once. And there's like the biggest smile because you pulled it off, first of all.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just such a setup. And everything just keeps moving forward. But as I pulled up my game and I look up, I'm like, okay, I'm jumping back in. Yo, there's Desperados 3 right there, right? Which is MiMiMi's last game.
Yep.
And I'm just like, the studio has a formula that's been working for them. And I'm excited for them to keep going. But I'm also excited to see what else they introduce next. When it comes back to the Shadow Gambit, the crew themselves, every crew member, dude, is different. And they have their own unique abilities. Their passives are all relatively the same. They can either swim and climb or they can't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. So I would have liked to seen a little bit more care taken into the passive side of things.
That's fair.
But either way, dude, when everything else is there, like they're just firing on all cylinders. What a solid game.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast so far.
Corey, dude, it's pretty simple, man. I told you right from the beginning, I love this game. I think they've nailed it. As I was looking for critiques, there really wasn't much, right? You get adjusted to the camera. The passives are just okay. That's like the weakest thing I can find,
Yeah,
man. Like
that's about it.
It's a polished game. MiMiMi's just nailed it out of the park for me. If you're a tactics, shadow, stealth fan, like, dude, this fits that realm, right? Like, that's exactly what you're after. For me, it fired on all cylinders. I got to give it a 10. What about you?
Oh, 10. You know what, Drew, I didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. I really like the preview, so being able to jump into the full game has given me the confidence to say that this one is a ton of fun. The value's there. I think you're going to get every bit of value out of the money you're going to spend on this game. I'm giving this one a 9. I'm not a stealth guy as much as you are, so being able to give this one a 9 and having as much fun as I've had with this so far, I'm telling you right now, man, I think this is one everyone can't be sleeping on, so I'm giving it a 9. Shadow Gambit, the Cursed Crew is the one, man.
Nice.